It was just hailing at my house 30 minutes ago.
Yeah, one of the dads like couldn't pull over at that taxidermy right on that T turn off. That was hailing there pretty good. We never saw him.
Where's your house at?
Real west side, Sioux Falls, in between 26th and 21st.
Okay.
You know like where like the west side rec center is? It's like right down the street from that.
Oh. Yeah, I kind of figured, when I saw it, I looked online quick, because I'm always interested in what it's doing, because we got.
Nice ring.
Water is okay at this point? Just
Two bucks, all, whatever
Can we push back on the heroes
Yes.
I don't know why, they just told me they are. Oh, maybe he said.
The last one.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's that?
All the water comes up.
It's like a library, property.
Just other sports complex.
We don't get priority.
I can't believe they didn't cancel it.
I know.
Yes.
Especially when they get a picture of the.
Yeah.
It's so down now.
It's a milestone.
Right now. I'll see in the moment. Just give that on.
I already verified the agenda.
Becky does? That does revive everything.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
So she's very bummed. And
Sorry.
then,
Yes, sir.
what's that?
Tell her, I don't think she's taking her duties as chair very seriously.
She wanted, she was
Fairly in
Hey,
favor.
Tyson,
she was crying.
why that?
That's-
Why are these done in
Okay.
the total?
She'll make up for it, 'cause,
We could probably, yeah, guess the total number is right.
there we go.
But why are
You saw my template
Oh,
for
there's one in between.
my one-on-one.
Yes, fine.
Yeah, so she can make that email by her. It's like 2
Thank you.
months shy.
I know.
We're gonna have that done by next Thursday.
Or the
Very
desk
nice.
is 2 feet wide.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
One way or the other.
Outside.
It won't take much.
No, it won't.
When I revisit
Yeah,
them,
just
they
they
show
could
me
find
the
the
same.
If you want a
Not
couple.
that, not enough.
The computer was all,
Yeah.
So,
they got all
Okay.
that in
it
there.
just love it or no.
She won't be able to join us. I think.
Okay. So I do have one piece of information that she messaged me that we'll talk about
No,
later.
Lauren's not gonna be.
If she hasn't already told one.
She messaged everyone.
Did she?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's what
okay.
I got. Yeah, I got it.
Perfect.
And they-
I think she might try to
Super.
combine, but-
Covering her ground.
Now I don't feel so special.
Oh, I know.
No, 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 that's fine. You go ahead, you're the mayor.
But I don't know if that's right, no one's ever told me it's wrong. The hardboard, what's there?
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, welcome. Nate, any additions to the agenda?
No additions.
I'll look for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Okay, motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Motion carries. On to the mayoral proclamation. Nate, anything on this, or should I just get going?
Nope, just
Okay.
go ahead and read it.
All right. Well, tonight we have a special honoring of our librarians and our library program here in Lennox. It's National Library Week. So on behalf of the city and as mayor, we have a special proclamation for you. And we'll get a picture here with you all in just a little bit. So So whereas libraries spark creativity, fuel imagination, and inspire lifelong learning, offering a space where individuals of all ages can find joy through exploration and discovery. Whereas libraries serve as a vibrant community hubs, connecting people with knowledge, technology, and resources while fostering civic engagement, critical thinking, and cultural enrichment. Whereas libraries provide free and equitable access to books, digital tools, and innovative programming, ensuring that all individuals, regardless of background, have the support they need to learn, connect, and thrive. Whereas libraries partner with schools, businesses, and organizations to maximize resources, increase efficiency, and expand access to essential services, strengthening the entire community. Whereas libraries empower job seekers, entrepreneurs, and lifelong learners by providing access to resources, training, and opportunities that support career growth and economic success. Whereas libraries nurture young minds through story times, STEM programs, and literacy initiatives, fostering curiosity and a love of learning that does last a lifetime. Whereas libraries protect the right to read, think, explore without censorship, standing as champions of intellectual freedom and free expression. Whereas dedicated librarians and library workers provide a welcoming space that inspire discovery, collaboration, and creativity for all. Whereas libraries, librarians, and library workers across the country are joining together to celebrate National Library Week under the theme, Find Your Joy. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Danny Fergan, Mayor of Lennox, proclaim April 19th through 25th, 2026 as National Library Week. During this week, I encourage all residents to visit their library, explore its resources, and celebrate all the ways that the library helps our community find joy. Well, congratulations. Why don't you come on up, librarians, and we'll take a picture here. All right, who do you have with you this evening?
Myself.
Yes.
I have Megan Labor, she's pretty much our children's programming person, and I have Danny, she's kind of like my right hand, you
Yep.
know, she does a lot,
Yep.
especially when I'm gone.
Great. You're on the library board.
I am on
Yep.
the board.
Yes, she's on the board.
Yep.
We're gonna center, if Megan could be right
Come
here,
this way a little bit.
a little bit, there you go, right there.
You can hold the other side of this
Okay, all right,
paper
I
here.
can do that,
Yes.
okay.
All right, we're good.
All right, we'll get you a framed copy of this, so thank you guys for your.
Actually, I have a frame.
Oh, you, okay.
Yeah, I just
Oh,
frame everything.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wonderful.
There you go. All right, thank you.
The 23rd is the open house. Cookies, juice, coffee, crafts, make and bakes, take and makes. Come on down,
All the good stuff.
all the
All
fun
right.
stuff.
Thank you.
Thanks, Audra.
Thank you.
Thanks all of you, I guess.
Yeah, thanks for being here. On to the next agenda item here, we have public comment. Anyone from the community wish to come forward and speak, please come on up. Hi there.
Hello, I'm here.
Hey.
All right, Betsy Gibbon, Cleveland Avenue and 4th Street. My question tonight is I am wondering in this process, who now has jurisdiction over Cleveland Avenue? Is it Lincoln County or is it the city of Lennox?
So with the agreement with Lincoln County that was signed, I wanna say within the last 2 months, I can't remember when, the city has access control, the county has control of everything else. So driveways, approaches, those kinds of things would be under the city's control. Everything else is under the county.
Okay, so what about the road ditches?
Typically, we work with the county on, like if we need to clean out ditches, we do, like by the park and a little bit south, they've typically taken care of everything else.
So I'm wondering, because there's debris covering the culverts all along Cleveland Avenue, and I'm wondering when will this ditch have a controlled burn? And time is of the essence, because it's planting season, we haven't quite planted quite yet, but there will be seed in the ground here soon. So if we're gonna have a controlled burn to take the debris out of these culverts, it's gotta be soon. Also, especially if we do have a large spring rain, that's only gonna potentially add to what could be a drainage issue. So it needs to be cleaned out. So I'm wondering if we can commit to setting up a controlled burn.
It wouldn't be ours to burn, but we can work with the county to figure out what exactly can happen.
So the county's jurisdiction,
Correct.
so the ditch is the county's jurisdiction,
Yes.
even though the city of Lennox has control of Cleveland Avenue?
We only have control of access, driveways and approaches.
But what about, like, for example, the right of way? So then is that the county's jurisdiction or is that the city?
For the next 7 years, it's still the county's.
Okay, so I should contact the county.
You can, I can talk to Terry tomorrow morning and see what the plan is.
Well, I wanna get this in the book, so I should contact the county then, and then, I guess if they say something different, then I'll be back.
Sounds good.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Ralph Trilson, 27821 Cleveland. Yeah, we'll have to try to see about taking care of this, because I talked to the county, and they said that Lennox has control of that ditch on the west side. So, I guess, I don't know who's gonna try to take care of this, but like I said, especially with the corn stalks in there, it's so bad in there that there is no ditch anymore. All it is debris. And if we do have a pretty good rain, once it hits my spot, it just backs up into my yard. And if that ditch was clean, I don't think we'd have that much of a problem. But like I said, it's dirty and it's so bad that between the corn stalks and cattails and stuff like that, I mean, it always backs up into my yard. And if that stuff was in there, I don't think it'd back up to my yard. But like I said, and then the last thing is, like I said, we've discussed it already. Hopefully we don't have a really heavy rain, because when they put that approach into that new development, they put a 4-inch pipe in. I mean, that's not gonna take care of no water. So all that's gonna do, if we have bad rain, it's gonna hit that approach and back all the way up, and it's gonna go across your road. So, but, like I said, we're gonna have to find out who takes care of the ditch.
Yep, yeah, we will do that, so,
Okay,
thank
thank
you. Yep. Any other public comment this evening? Okay, seeing that there's none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Nate, anything you'd like to draw attention to?
Mayor and council, a few items on here. First, we received a new estimate for the server that we've quoted before. Prices for hardware do continue to increase. We're not at a must-replace time yet, but if this thing does fail this year, it's not budgeted, and we'll have to spend that money. Otherwise, for now, we're going to plan on including that in the 2028 budget. The amended schedule of fines and fees resolution in there, having to do with facility use. So there's a facility use policy and the fees that go along with that. A proposal from Geotech for materials testing on the Oriole Avenue project that's bid tomorrow. Hiring several seasonal employees in groundskeeping and recreation assistants. An agreement for Premier Pyrotechnics for the summer's fireworks. And just a note that that's scheduled for the old football field again, not by the high school. Then annual fire department report from Chief Bundes. And Chief Bundes is here if you have questions on that report, but it's pretty straightforward.
Okay, thank you. Discussion from council. Thanks to the park board for just the recommendation with changes in the fees. Appreciate their due diligence in working on that.
How are we coming on our seasonal fills? It looks like we've got a nice list there, but I don't know what the full head count is.
Lifeguards need to be done yet. So I think this is all the rec assistants and groundskeepers. I don't expect anything else there. Lifeguard interviews started last week, and I think we'll have most of them ready by the May 11th meeting.
Good deal.
Any other discussion, comments, questions?
Great to see the seasonal employees on there. I'm looking forward to summer.
Motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. I'll do roll call this evening. Swear,
Aye.
Peterson,
Aye.
Teasy,
Aye.
Welch.
Aye.
Doherty.
Aye.
Yep, motion does carry. All right, on to new business. We have ordinance 668 amended drainage fee.
Mayor and council, this comes, you'll remember at the equalization meeting, we talked a little bit about, well, I didn't, Tyson did a little bit, about the drainage fee as it relates to essentially properties that are, cropland, pasture land, or otherwise in a rural service district. So this changes the drainage fee to 0 for those properties. And it does so by changing the runoff weighting factor for cropland and grassland, as well as the rural service district. So recommend a motion to approve first reading.
Any discussion for this item?
You said it's to change it to 0, correct?
Correct. And the rationale is these properties really don't benefit from any of our drainage
Is there any
systems.
properties outside of the, I guess, south of Wilson?
Just Cooper.
Coopers?
Yeah. So there's, I want to say probably 8 properties that are in rural service district. You've got the Cooper one. There's a couple of Cooper ones up on Boynton as well. I think Lennox property is one, if I remember right. The Dannon property out west along Cleveland, I think that's rural service district as well.
Okay.
The Opine property was, it will no longer be in the following year.
Any other discussion? I'll look for a motion to approve first reading of ordinance 668.
I'll make a motion to approve first reading of ordinance 668.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, seeing that there's none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion does carry. On to 4.2, we have fire department edition.
Mayor and Council, Chief Fundus is here tonight to talk about this. Public Safety Committee members will recall a discussion with the fire department last year that included a discussion on building expansion. As you may know, the fire department maintains equipment that needs to be stored outside simply due to a lack of available space in the current building. To bring that indoors, they obtained an initial quote for a building expansion of approximately $90,000. I don't think that included some concrete work, if I remember right, as well as plumbing and electrical. So obviously, if that's a project undertaken by the city, it would need to be bid according to state law. So it's really on your discussion, or on your agenda for discussion only at this point. I have several notes on there just for consideration. And as I mentioned, Chief Fundus is here to answer questions as well as Mr. Strasser.
All right, thank you. Chief, do you have anything you want to start us off with, or just wait for questions?
I would say just the reason we're doing it is, we are packed in there pretty tight right now. I know some of you have seen it with all the trucks in there.
Yep.
And, we currently got the UTV in the gear room, which does tighten that up. And in the future, if we look at replacing our pumper one, we're gonna use like the same pump and water capacity, but even with the same style truck, they do get longer at this,
Right.
And what would be going in there is, like probably our UTV grass rig and our trailer that houses rescue for grain bin rescue and that. That's currently outside right now.
Sure. Questions, discussion from council, we can ask more questions to Chief Fundas too, or Micah.
What's the current assessed value of our existing structures? Not just the fire hall, but if we could get that itemized, I'd like to take a look at what we could consider into consolidating under one roof and what the value for sale of those properties comes to. So we can really get a feel for our overall commitment and make it a multi-use facility.
Yeah, I guess, that was my question. What, is that long-term where we wanna be with the fire department? And is adding on worth the squeeze, or should we look at a different building altogether?
Yeah, you know, and there's, this would go back prior to Chief Fundus' tenure, but there was discussion about, you know, as the community expands, most likely to the north, do we look at something along the highway out there? And obviously, you know, my preference would be to have all public safety facilities together for fairly obvious reasons in terms of emergency operation center and so on and so forth. But to Bill, your question, we don't have an assessed value on any of these because they're all exempt. But we could probably get the insured value from our schedule, or just get some sort of value on them. So.
I think getting that equipment inside makes sense.
Yeah,
I think
for
that's
sure.
a good idea. What's the best way to do it, I think is what we gotta figure out, and put, you know, input we want, obviously.
And Mike can correct me here, but I think right now, the only real concern is the trailer. In the future, it's an additional pumper. Right.
And we wouldn't be adding another apparatus, but what we do is currently in that row, we've only got a couple of feet between the front and back trucks. There's 3 trucks in that aisle. One of them pumpers would be keeping, and that would go in a new spot. The other one would be a little bit longer, so that would stay where it currently sits.
So it would ease some space in the current, and the UTV.
Yeah.
UTV should be put on a trailer,
Right, yeah.
and with the dry conditions and other grass rig, you know, it's.
Yeah. When you're taking that UT, I mean, how far out are you responding? Because you're gonna have to take that thing directly down on a trailer, so.
We
10
do-
miles out on that thing instead of taking it rigged up.
Right, and I would say within a 5-mile radius, we can drive it.
How fast does that go?
The max you probably would want to go is like 45.
What kind of timeline are you wanting, or I guess what is your guys' thoughts? Obviously, it's been sitting out, we don't want that to continue, but what's your guys' request?
I mean, we would probably rather start sooner, but the department does have funds, even though it's not in this year's budget.
Yep.
That we could cover it, but Nate and I talked about, we probably don't want to, because them funds would be from fundraisers, townships, and city.
Yep.
We probably don't want to mix that with the city-owned building.
Right, makes it a little bit awkward.
If it were pressing enough, wouldn't we just come to an agreement to make that fund whole in 2027 with budgeted funds?
Yeah, you could, I mean, you know,
So it
this is
doesn't-
not, I mean, we can obviously handle the cost of a new police cruiser or an ambulance in second penny. And I don't know at this point what the restraint or what the constraints on that fund would be next year, but if it had to be done now, that's what we would probably do.
Right.
We'd find a way to make it whole, or we'd find a way to make it happen this year with other funds.
Yeah, I agree with the sentiment that I don't believe our volunteer fire department should foot the bill for an improvement to a city-owned structure.
Right. If it's something that, the council wishes to have more study on, you know, we could look at similar consolidation projects in the past and recent history. I mean, the only thing that comes to mind, that's not consolidated, you know, T's Fire Station, but that's that doesn't have EMS and doesn't have police. Police has a brand new station.
At one point it did though, right? When they outgrew it?
I believe police used to be in the current city hall attached to fire, but that was a long time ago.
Right. But that was their original intent. They didn't quite
I think
account
so.
for the growth that they
Yeah,
experienced.
right. Something happened between now and then. I remember working with a couple of architects, and we were looking at architects for the museum and band shell project. That had some experience with some of these, and I don't know if Stockwell works with a specific architect or not. But we could look at what kind of cost I don't even know what it would cost to study this. So if that's something that the council wants to pursue, we can get a rough number by the next meeting. Acknowledging, of course, that pushes this back, the more we study it.
Well, and how big are we adding? I guess, are we going enough? It's 90 to me seems, for a building addition seems kind of low. And but you mentioned it's not maybe covering it all, so what?
It doesn't have all
what
the
is
plumbing
real-
and electrical.
What is the real amount?
But it's roughed in, is what, it will be roughed in, the plumbing and electrical?
I don't
In
think,
our second.
I think that's the one that's
we
up there
sent
now.
you, yeah, we will need at least floor drains over there. And
Right.
some minor electrical and heat, obviously.
I guess my question is too, that if, let's say it makes sense to do a combined emergency service building somewhere, would the existing fire station that we have in this addition, is there a use for it by the city? Like Brian, do you have any equipment that sits outside now? No?
No.
So it'd be something that we would have, but we don't necessarily have a need for if that becomes vacant.
Yeah, you'd have, if you consolidate everything, you'd have all three buildings that you could dispose of.
Sure.
If we don't have another purpose for them.
Yeah.
What if we look at this as maybe more of an investment in that block? I know we're not on the main highways or anything, but say in 5 years, the Clarity Telecom, Blue Peak, they decide they want to get out of there, but well, there's two lots right there, and you could start consolidating on that block.
And that was, I think we talked about that when we had that committee meeting as well, is, should we approach Blue Peak at some point?
Yeah.
Say, listen, if your long-term need is not here, we'd be interested. But my assumption is that is not set up for what we need. It's gonna take some major work to get it there.
Yeah. Well, I drove by on my way here, and neither of the buildings are in that good a shape anyway, so in my mind, I'm like tearing down and just
Do you?
start adding on to, what we need, maybe the ambulance on the south side and or whatever. Just start combining from there on that block. I mean, I know we're not on the highway, but I'm just spitballing, kind of thinking.
Well, being out on the highway was never a short-term idea either. This was, when we first started talking about countryside, and as the community grows, we know that a lot of the growth will be to the north and east.
Yeah.
There was never any discussion of, well, here's when we know that we need to build
Yeah.
a new station on the highway or something. It was just kind of an acknowledgement that it would probably have to happen at some point. Sioux Center, I think they built their south station 3 years ago. Does that sound right? 3 or 4 years ago. They're at 7,500, 8,000 people at this point. Now it's a long community. They're about 4 or 5 miles long at this point. So it makes sense that you've got one close to downtown and then one way on the south end as well.
I mean, how long does it take to get to the highway from, you're on 2nd Street, so you're kind of able to blast through there, but.
It doesn't take very long to respond, and a lot of our responders are coming from in town going to the station anyway.
Yeah.
So if they had to drive farther to the highway, I don't know that it'd make a huge difference there.
During the day, you're probably the furthest away for a response until,
Yeah, right.
everybody else is within a few blocks really.
The structure we're in right now, granted it's 1974, but It's in good shape structure.
Yeah.
It would be worth,
Concrete's.
yeah, the concrete's perfect, so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's worth preserving it,
Yeah.
I guess.
Is the, and maybe, this maybe is a more of a committee discussion that needs to happen, but, you know, I look at it, is the setup how the fire department would want it
That's what
if
I
they
was
were to
thinking.
have it done today.
I don't wanna just, you know,
Band-Aid.
rig it together,
Yeah.
like, to make it work, but it's not what we want, like, is there a better plan that maybe, I don't know, costs a little bit more, but you know, then it's what we want,
Mhm.
or is this what we want, that's kind of what I'm trying to understand.
As well as making sure that it fits our EMS needs as well, and what they want.
Well, that's kind of up in the air too, like, what's,
Yeah,
Right,
I guess
and that's all up in there, yeah, absolutely.
So that area, is that all we have to work with there, right? This would be as big as we could make it with the space we have.
Yeah, there's-
The way the plan is, it'd be 16 wide.
Okay.
And that would leave 6 feet, 5 to 6 feet in between that and the analogy.
Which is probably the least you can have.
With central business, you can go right after the.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, so it's zone central business, and zoning doesn't apply to governments anyway. But I'd still think it makes sense to, you know, follow the general zoning laws. Yeah, do as we say, not as we do, as always. But you can go right up against the property line there, but 16 foot is, you know, makes sense, obviously, so.
I think it makes sense to get some rough numbers for our next meeting, as well as kind of know if that spacing is adequate for multiple use facilities in the event that those other buildings are willing to sell.
I'm sure the three of us can sit down and talk through, you know, some options and, you know, if it were to be built today, what would you want to see in there? So, I think that may be something, I don't know if you have a board meeting or training tomorrow night, but maybe something to ask members is, you know, if we were to build new today, what would you want to see in this building?
I think it'd also be interesting to find out too, the building that is to the east of the police department as well. I know. It has been for sale for a while, on and off, so there's potential.
Yeah, the biggest challenge with that building, I think, is the HVAC, and there's no plumbing in it. I think it might be subbed out, but there's no plumbing in it. I'll have to check, I'll have to verify that.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I think we wanna see something happen, just wanna make sure it's right, and not just this will work for now kind of thing, just something that makes sense long-term, and I appreciate.
yeah,
You guys'
I don't want,
progress.
I don't want to drag 3 years to
Right.
make a decision either.
No.
I think we need to come up with a, you know, a plan that works for them and works for us and makes sense for.
Do you feel like you've already gone through that process, and you're just gonna come back with the same information?
We can do some more stuff.
Okay.
but-
I don't wanna waste your time, you know, if you've already flushed that out, too, so.
I just feel like, you know, that building, I feel confident it's a sturdy building. We may have to reseal the roof at some point there, but this is a pretty reasonable solution
Yeah, it
to
is.
get more space versus a whole new station's gonna be quite expensive.
Right.
Yeah, as nice as that would be, sometimes it's just not reasonable.
But I think this is also an opportunity to look at, you know, is there something we can do to modernize the building? You know, can we bring the meeting room up? Can we, is there anything different we can do with the bunker gear room? That kind of stuff. I think it's an opportunity to look at some larger scale, refinements that maybe will serve the department better.
Okay,
Overall, and, you know, yeah, it may cost more money, but I think long-term may serve the department better, so.
Absolutely, especially
Sounds
with
good.
Lennox growing.
Well, we want a space that they can recruit, you know.
Yep.
Yep.
Place that you want to be at, you know, so.
Not really an action item, just some direction with this, and then we'll come back.
Yep.
When you have it prepared.
Yeah, we'll have something for the next meeting.
Yeah.
It may not be a very detailed, but we'll have some information.
Okay.
Thank Thank you.
That sound good?
Yeah.
Fire department, thanks, alright. Alright, on to 4.3, we have amended Emerald Ash Borer plan.
Mayor and council, as you know, Emerald Ash Borer was found in Lennox in 2024. Since that time, we've taken out a number of trees, I want to say 150 trees in the park and right away. With the help of some professional arborists, we've amended the EAB plan. That's presented here for your approval tonight. 3 highlights of this plan. We plan to ask you next year or later this year to declare all ash trees a nuisance, which will allow code enforcement staff to begin enforcement and removal efforts on private trees next year. One of the things that came across clearly with our arborists, it's very, very important that people, if they aren't treating their trees, start destroying them as soon as possible. They're going to become unstable, dangerous, and way more expensive to remove in the next couple of years. So we'll spend a lot of 2026 educating the public, which includes the public meeting with Dr. Ball of SDSU. Then we'll do further assessments and removals next year, and those costs, those estimated costs are included in the EAB plan. I would expect some changes to those, but those are today's numbers. So we recommend a motion to approve the amended plan.
Alright, thanks. Discussion from council.
Do we have any idea how many are left in town? Like,
A lot,
yeah,
A lot.
a lot.
I mean, you're talking 1,200 parcels, even if you only have 1 per parcel. That's a lot of trees.
yeah. And I took 3 down
Right,
in the last year. so-
and they're not cheap.
No.
One thing that, I want to see we discussed
Yep.
was, if there's some interest, and I think there's some merit to this. What if we were to do an RFP that just says, folks, respond with your number that you would charge our residents. And whoever's got that lowest number, that's who our preferred tree service is. That at least will get folks, we've got the volume to bring that price down.
If we can get the best price
Right.
that anyone can get.
Yeah, I mean, if we could get a tree service to agree to the price we got on the bid for removal last year, it'd be fantastic. Folks would save a ton of money.
Well, and that works for them when they can come to town and knock out a number of them.
And know
If
that
each
they've got
individual
work.
homeowner is contracting these done, it's going to be ridiculously expensive.
Right.
Plus the damage to our roads with heavy trucks coming in, and loading and getting out of here,
From who knows where. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
There just isn't, there isn't a lot of logic in leaving that all to everybody on their own. So yes, putting together a RFP for a community-wide remediation, I think, is the perfect first step. Education, again, for our residents, they understand their role in this, and if you have an ash tree, this is your financial role in
Take action.
this, correct?
Yeah.
Of course, residents are welcome to handle it on their own accord safely, but having a group plan like this, I think, makes the most sense.
Yeah, I think it can help out a lot. I'll be honest, I have no idea what this will look like yet. Like, I don't, technically it doesn't have to comply with state bid laws, but, we'll probably mirror that process pretty closely, so.
What's the average cost of the tree that the city paid?
We got 150 trees for 45,000, that sound right?
It was,
What's that?
Yeah, about
But you
1,500.
gotta remember, these trees were out in the open for the most part, I mean.
Yeah.
They weren't
you get in
people's
someone's
backyards.
Backyards and
Yeah.
stuff, the price just goes way up, so.
They got to top them, there's a lot of work.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, and you don't know the condition of all of them. That's probably the biggest.
I don't see how.
If
you
it's been
know-
dying off for
Sounds about right.
2 years already or 3 years already, there's some stability issues that are gonna make it more expensive.
I don't see how you do an average tree, if these trees are missing yards, it's gonna have to be a quote to each property.
I don't know if I
What
will.
it would take to theirs.
Sure.
45,000, you said 145 trees,
150-ish, about 1,500 trees.
so about 310.
3,000.
Seems high.
Yeah.
That's
I just-
right, too, the number of trees, 150.
My thought is that there's gonna be a lot of people that can't afford this.
Yeah,
And then, is there any sort of resources out there that we can try to apply for to help?
So Sioux Falls has the same challenge.
Yeah.
What they use is special assessments. If somebody can't afford it, we'll have it done, but we'll special assess it against the property, which means they can pay it over the course of 10, 15 years. Similar to how we're doing street improvements.
Because it's a nuisance, if they're still standing in it, I think we have to come to that conclusion.
Yeah, I mean,
If folks can't afford it, they're gonna put it off, right? So and if it
Right.
needs to come down because it's a
then
nuisance
it
or hazard,
falls on your neighbor's
we gotta
house.
get it down, so.
Right.
It could be it could be a nuisance before we declare it a nuisance, and the sooner they can take it down, the better. What Sioux Falls is doing, it's a voluntary special assessment. You know, we know that not everybody can afford this. Here's how we would help you pay for it. You can do low, no interest if you need to.
But like to Mitch's point, like not every tree is created equal as far as the cost to get it out of there, so like I don't know how we get a good number that people can use, but I think we need, if we get, maybe maybe that RFP can lay it out, that they come to with us with a proposal, how they would handle it, but I think combining the volume will get everyone the best rate, it's just how do you.
It's just one more piece we can offer.
Yep.
Right.
To those that see that.
And if we can't just have a conversation with the bidders on the project and say, here's our idea.
Well, I think if you could get everybody to grant you permission to be on their property, and you get, and we've done that before, improvements on private property, and bid a project out, identify all the trees that the contractor's gonna take out, but you have all the easements and documents necessary to access the property. To me, that's probably the most cost-effective way, so you get one contractor, one bid, they know what they're doing out there, and it takes the
Or
cooperation.
just special assess all of it.
Potentially, yeah. And then I need to assess each property, kind of what they're,
Because even if you have a special assessment, you can still pay it off right now if you want to, right?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
and if there's any way to get
all
people
of that,
one contract.
be interesting to know what that dollar figure is, so if we're gonna do it that way.
We won't know until we get an
That's
assessment.
it.
done.
What's it gonna cost to get rid of it?
Yeah.
Of course, some people will want a tree as opposed to,
If
if
you
the
did,
tree's in the shape that it can be treated.
if you did the special assessment, like every property would get, like you'd know what this property is 3,000, this property's 1,000, this property's.
And we won't know that until we do the assessment,
Right.
private streets assessment, which right now would happen early next year.
That's a
This
pretty-
time next year, probably.
How many guys are you gonna get to invest to do that? Well, that's a lot of work.
It is. But we had a good response on last year's removal. 5 bidders, I think.
Yeah.
So,
Reach out to the same group.
Mayor and Council, I recommend a motion to table. I want to go back to the drawing board a little bit on this and see if maybe we can look at being maybe even a little more aggressive, but working with folks on a special assessment process coming up in 2027.
I'd like to also know a little more information on how we're going, the people that want to treat, how we're going to
Enforce that. and
enforce
monitor it.
that,
Yeah,
monitor, yes.
It's gonna have to have a tag from the arborist.
Right.
Anybody that's self-treating,
So,
They tag them,
yeah,
yeah,
they tag them.
an arborist will,
Yep.
yeah. But, we know that folks are probably trying to self-treat and it's minimally, if at all, effective,
right.
so.
But the guys doing that, the guys treating trees, it's, I don't know, a 20-inch diameter tree. It's gonna cost you about $200 for 2 years.
For the rest of its life, every 2 years.
Every 2 years,
Yep.
$200 for 20-inch diameter. Larger, more money.
Financially, it makes sense to take them down, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think most folks eventually get to that conclusion, after 5 rounds of treatment, you've put out $1,000, you know that no matter what, this tree is gonna die at some point. I think most folks come to that conclusion.
Can we maybe include a replacement option?
I wanna do a rebate.
Just information.
Yeah, well, I'd like to do a tree rebate program, but we're gonna have to limit how much we can do in a year, just because, we're talking a lot
Right.
of trees.
Right.
Clearly, yeah.
I don't think we wanna spend $50,000 on tree replacement if we don't have to, so. And we'll keep applying for the urban forestry grant as long as we can. There are some reforestation efforts that you can do in there as well, so.
Okay, Nate, asked for a motion to table, I agree with that thought. Do I have a motion to put this item on the table?
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to table this item, so will be brought up on the 27th, next meeting. Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Motion carries. On to 4.4, the new business, the utility billing fees.
Mayor and council, our utility billing software, G-Works, has initiated like an updated fee structure for all online payments. Previously, they had a flat fee of 45, I guess when I wrote this, I thought it was just 45 per, but it was scaled from 45 cents to like 55 cents if it was over like $1,000 payment for every e-check or like ACH payment. And online credit cards was 3.5% with a $2 minimum, and they've updated all e-checks to a minimum of a $3 fee, up to $500, $4 from $500 to $1,000, $5 from $1,000 to $5,000, and $10 for anything above that. And credit card fees is a 4% payment, or with a $3 minimum. And in the past, we've absorbed all these fees, which amounted to a little under $12,000 in 2024, and a little over $12,000 in 2025. And with these updated fee structures, we'd be looking at a projected amount of a little under $30,000 in absorbed fees if we continue to absorb these fees online. And basically the question is, do you want to continue absorbing the fees or pass it along to the residents?
Is that easy to switch in the software?
I have to just make a call to them, and you have to do like an official,
Okay.
it's like signing something for them, but.
Is G-Works the only company that can do this for us? Is
Well,
there-
they own all of our like account, or they run all of our
So we
accounting
don't have the
software.
ability to shop this around?
Yeah, we have no leverage
Well,
on the negotiation here.
Not really.
Okay, so it was them that suggested this, correct?
Yeah, it's for,
Yeah.
it's like
Okay.
nationwide.
They're charging us
Just
for that.
Clarity for
Yeah.
everybody. Yeah, thank you.
I mean, ultimately, here's the thing, like, we can either add this fee to each bill, or, I mean, as we do our rate information
Right.
every year, it's still considered a part of the rate.
Right.
Because it is an operating expense of
Right.
each utility.
And it's just online fees.
So ultimately, it will be rolled into a rate at some point.
Yeah, I don't think we charge as a separate line.
No, that sounds really bad. Nightmarish.
Right.
I think we continue to
Absorb the fees.
absorb the fees. Oh, that's a big jump, 12,000 to 30,000, wow.
Yeah.
So, on that note, how did they determine this was the right course of action for them to increase these fees triple-digit percentages?
Convenience, I'm not really, didn't give too big of an explanation for it. It was just like a random newsletter that they sent out early March. And they said a lot of cities that they work with just pass it on to the residents.
That's not a,
It's a big jump though.
I mean, that seems outrageous. That's why I'm asking is like, do we have other options?
We do have other options, it's a big lift, obviously, it's like
Right.
accounting software.
And it's probably not,
One of them reached out to me today, because they know I'm personally not happy with G-Works. We were supposed to be on the cloud years ago, and we still aren't. And we basically told them, until it's working, we're not interested, like, it needs to be working the way it needs to, so. There are other options out there, it's just, it's a big shift, and I don't know that we're gonna find overall cost savings by going anywhere else either.
right, and like,
We shifted away from Bang into G-Works 2020, does that sound right? What a great year of change. It's either 2019 or 2020. I don't remember for sure which. And G-Works or Bang is not an option. if anybody remembers MS-DOS, I'm pretty sure everything is still running on MS-DOS over there. It doesn't offer anything in terms of modern computing software, so.
Do we have any leverage for pushback? Have we tried to say, you know, this is outrageous, this is an incredible hike in one annual cycle?
Give the little college a try.
Yeah, I think we at least try to push back.
We can argue that we paid for the hub and not received it yet. And
That's a huge piece of leverage.
Until we do, I think that's a reasonable argument.
It does seem reasonable to ask, you know, hey, this is for 1 year jump. You know, let's take it in increments or something, you know, let's give us a little bit, but.
I like holding them accountable for providing the service that we're paying for and bringing that hammer into this discussion.
Okay.
Would you like us to table this and revisit after that conversation takes place?
I don't know that you need to take action at all. I mean, it is listed as an action item, it looks like, but,
Yeah, I mean, I think,
it sounds to me like we just need to talk to them, see what we can pull out of this yet.
yeah, I mean, I think the motion would be we're gonna still absorb the rates, the fee.
That's our intent, but let's avoid it if we can.
Right, but let's
See how
let's
much
try
we
to,
can
let's
avoid.
try to mitigate that for the city.
So it's just the motion fails because there's no lack of motion, so it just adds.
Well, I mean, we can still motion to say we're
We'll continue to absorb
absorb
the
the
fees.
fees. And
Okay.
then
That works.
we're trying to limit the fees. So I'll make a motion to continue absorbing fees for the online payers effective May 5th, 2026, utility billing due date.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. I just have one question on this. How many people pay in person, like with a check or cash?
Pull that back up.
I have the numbers for the online payers, and it's like 1170 total water bills I think we're sending out.
So that's like 80% of the people or more?
So 700, about
Probably about 60%
60% are online,
So
yeah.
I thought it'd be more.
it definitely
When I
grows.
started, I bet we were at 15-20%.
Yeah.
It definitely grows month over month.
Sure.
People are paying online.
Okay, all right, just had a question for that. All right, so we had a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. Motion carries. Thanks for that. I'll look for a motion to go into executive session for legal counsel with under SDCL 1-2523.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, now declares an executive session, 7:49.
Mayor, just as a note, we don't have any action to take coming out of this, so I assume we won't
Okay,
gavel back in. Well, we won't start the recording over, just.
sounds good. We'll just adjourn.
Adjourning.
Okay. Sounds good, folks.
Have a great National Library Week.
Are you coming for cookies?
Absolutely.
All right.
You just need cookies.
I did, yes.
She didn't even say Eileen's cookies, but that's what's gonna be there.
Yes, it is.